Alright guys, today we are going to do a carburetor on a generac pressure washer. This is 3100 psi, 2.7 gallon a minute. First thing we're going to do is pop the air filter cover off. Just go ahead and pull the bent hose off, get it out of the way. Take the wing nut, get the air filter off. There's supposed to be 3 10 millimeters. You got one here, and there's supposed to be one up here. Somebody's been in this and that one's missing. Take those 3 out. Now we're going to pull both levers forward like this, and then this will slide straight off the carburetor. Pull off the choke arm, pull off the front gasket. Come on. Alright, pull off the fuel line. Drain the gas tank completely out. I drained the first little bit into a clear water bottle so I could see if there's water or anything like that. This looks like it's okay. It's not great, but it isn't horrible either. The gas is good. But I do that just so I can check out and see what I got. But get the whole tank emptied out. Blow dry it out with the air hose if you've got one. Just get it nice, empty, and dry and clean before you hook the fuel line back up to your freshly rebuilt carburetor. Now I'm going to pull this all the way this way, and then the arm will lift straight up off, and then remove the spring. Pull this off the rest of the way. Now we're going to remove this 10 millimeter bolt on the bottom. Remove the bowl. Remove the pin. Slides out. Remove the floating needle valve. This is sticking. You gotta be very gentle not to break it. Give it, there you go. A little even pressure. Alright, now with a can of carb cleaner with a straw, you're gonna clean this area out really well. This area out, will go all the way through this. You want both those clean really well. And then you got this one here and this one here. You want to make sure all that sprays through very well. And on this carburetor there's a hidden jet, so we're going to take this idle screw right out. Once you got the idle screw out, you put a flathead under this. Just give it a slight pry. And I use 2 hands, but you pop this right out. So when you get that out, you're going to blow through this really good with carb cleaner. This is the idle circuit, so without this clean, it'll surge. It'll just surge. So we're going to clean that out real well. Make sure the needle valve and float is really clean. See, it's got debris, tar on it. We got to clean that up real good. I scrape the needle valve off with my fingernail. I'll hold it with my thumb and scrape each side off to make sure there's no chunks on it. Then rinse it off with carb cleaner. Alright, then we're going to go and clean out the bowl real good with carb cleaner. I use a little screwdriver and scrape everything out. Now we're going to put everything together. So the idle circuit goes back in. This goes back in. It's got 2 flat spots. Flat side goes against that spot right there. Slide it in. Push it down. Idle screw back in place. Alright, what you do with this idle is you tighten it all the way in snug and then bring it 4 full turns out. Alright, now you're going to take your float needle valve, you're going to set it back right in here. Then you're going to take your pin, set it in, get the float needle valve stuck in there. And once you got that all in, I rinse everything out one more time with carb cleaner just to make sure that there's no dirt and debris in there. Now notice I never touch that rubber O-ring. Leave that alone. If you pull that out, it will swell up. Now this is the drain bolt. It goes on the opposite side of the fuel inlet. Put it in place, and then the bolt. Make sure the bottom of the bolt's good and clean. I scrape it out with a screwdriver and spray it off and put it back on, tighten it down. Alright, now we're going to reassemble, make sure that there's a gasket in place. Put the carburetor back on. We're going to get the carburetor on to where the bolts are just lined up like this. Then we're going to reconnect the throttle arm and then the spring back in place. Then you push the carburetor all the way back, put the fuel line back on, put the choke arm back on. Make sure both are pointing this way. Put your gasket back on. Alright, we got everything pointing this way. Now we're going to put the air filter assembly back on. Put the two 10mm nuts back on. 10mm bolts, which we don't have because they were kind enough to do this before us. And then we're going to put the air filter back on. Make sure it's clean, blow it off with the air hose. Wing nut back on. Put the cover back on, click it in place. Put the vent line back on. Put gas in it. Fire it up. She's ready to go. Alright, any of the parts you'll need, I'll put a brand new carburetor, tune-up kit, filters, everything will be in the description below. If this helped you in any way, shape, or form, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. This is usually about $100 repair, so it'll save you $100 and a little support. Today's t-shirt will be in the description below as well. If you want me to wear a t-shirt, one of your business shirts for a bunch of videos, mail me one. I'll be more than happy to do that. Peace.